World Minute, a minute-by-minute podcast reviewing the 1997 sequel to Jurassic Park, 1 minute at a time. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And today we're here to discuss minute 29 of Lost World. Dave, how you been?
I've been good. How about you?
Very good, very good. Been a busy week, but always good to sit down and talk some Jurassic and some Lost World. And we have some great news this week.
Yeah, we do. Tons.
Finally, title reveal ahead of Comic-Con, where I thought most of the stuff was going to be revealed. It come out and hit the internet pretty hard.
Is Wednesday for you? Or no, Wednesday for us, Thursday for you.
Okay. Yep. So anyway, Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Already posted on our Instagram?
Yep. I like the sort of subtle nod to the Lost World in the title design, in the logo design. It's the Jurassic World logo, same as we've seen before, but without the colour. A lot grey, cracks, pieces missing. Sort of very similar to what they've done with the Jurassic World logo post Jurassic Park.
Very similar. No, I do wish that it did have a bit more color, only because I think it would have made it more interesting. I've seen fan edits of the logo that has added in like a kind of magma orange glow to behind everything.
Yep.
And especially coming from the cracks and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it looks really good. And I kind of wish they'd done that actually for the logo.
Yeah.
It looks like the original logo's red color, but it has this glow to it, like magma. You know?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've seen a couple of those fan edits for it. I'm sure this isn't the only logo we're going to get. There's going to be... Might even get something else as soon as Comic-Con, just a different colour. Because remember, we got the black and white one first that Colin tweeted out.
Yep.
And here we are, about a year to go until the film comes out. For Jurassic World, we got that poster drawn up by... I can't remember the artist's name now, but with the raptor falling on, or sitting on Explorer 04 at the base of the tree, and the construction, the Jurassic Park going on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a black and white logo then. I'm just saying this is what we're getting now. There is colour in it with the embers floating around on the screen, which is a bit of a 3D effect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of "Life Finds a Way" as a tagline.
Oh yeah, I'm not much either. It's kind of cheesy, you know.
Well, and it also sort of hints that Malcolm's going to be more a part of this movie than, because it's sort of a line that Malcome coined.
I don't think they have any way to get away with that tagline if Malcolm wasn't involved, you know.
But the other thing is too, everyone he sort of told that Life Finds a Way is dead, except for Wu.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Fallen Kingdom. It's got some depth, not just the Jurassic Kingdom on the islands seemingly destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's obvious at this point that they're not going back to reopen the park.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I suppose it could also mean the kingdom, the InGen Masrani Empire kingdom as well, falling. How all that is going to play out is anyone's guess. You'd think that Masrani being a global company, even with this incident, it might shut down local operations, but I'm sure the company still survives.
Yeah.
Board of directors and all that would take over, even Simon Masrani's death, so...
Well, there's also the fact that, unlike InGen, Jurassic World wasn't their only project, you know, so they had telecom, communications, all kinds of things beyond Jurassic World that kept them afloat. Military contracts as well, which will probably come into play sometime in these upcoming next movies.
Yeah, well, that's sort of where the whole Raptor Squad idea was coming into it for a military project.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Colin has said that was one crazy man's dream or one crazy man's idea, so hopefully that's stopped with Hoskins.
Yeah.
The idea has some merit. I can see them using animals like that. and maybe in some sort of spin-off or side continuity film or comic or something, I could see that happening, but not so much in the mainstream Jurassic story.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the idea, like, as it is, because there's recently some underwear, some boys' underwear that surfaced. That showed a canceled Hasbro toy line that would have involved these kind of very Dino Riders-like designs. And while I do enjoy Dino Riders, it's a fun toy line. It is not at all Jurassic Park, and I wanted to stay as far away from Jurassic Park as possible.
Yeah, it's very similar to what we've seen with the sales script with the human raptors and that. It'd be perfect for something like Dino Crisis or some sort of Resident Evil spin-off with mutated stuff like that, and I'd love to see that on screen. It'd be freaky and scary as crap, but it just doesn't belong in a Jurassic film.
No. And there's also the fact that, I mean, knowing Hasbro, they would have reused the old Jurassic World toys and it would have just resculpted them a bit. And it's not the idea that makes me so angry. I loved the idea as a kid. I loved Camo Extreme. I loved the idea of these kind of environment-specific breeds of dinosaurs that InGen would have created. Heck, I love Chaos Effects is a huge nostalgic point for me. But that's only because the sculpts were so good, and they used a lot of the original The Lost World sculpts.
Yeah, yep.
And I just don't think that I would like this, not only because it looks so Dinos Rider-ish, and I don't like that in the Jurassic Park concept, but also because I know that the toys would have sucked.
Yeah, we'll get a photo up when this episode comes out on the Facebook as well, if we haven't already. I mean, basically, it's got sort of three images of the Velociraptors. One green for jungle, one sort of sandy colour for desert, and one whited out for Arctic or ice or snow, with all the headgear and sort of equipment on them. Yeah, but anyway, back to the title. Interesting. Not epoch like a lot of people were, or approach, or whatever, however you want to say that. But a lot of people speculated it was going to be. I wonder if that was just sort of hanging around on an early script and someone's seen that and leaked it out.
Well, there's also the idea that partially came from the one of the actresses on the set took a picture of her with her thumb covering the second word. And so they kind of spawned the joke Jurassic thumbprint.
Yeah, her thumb was over a word. It was only a 4-letter word or a 5-letter word. It was only a small word, and I think that would have fueled the fire as well. But no, this is nice. I wouldn't mind just like a faded blue in the background, like the original Jurassic World logo as well. Just to like something that might have been hanging on a building or something like that.
Well, Fallen Kingdom, I think, refers a lot to the plot, I think, which was probably one of the reasons why Universal was reluctant to release it. But now we're getting a lot of stuff from Real News Hawaii. They're kind of hinting at Isla Nublar either being bombed or volcanoed or something. Something's going to happen, and the kingdom of Isla Nublar is going to fall, which is what I think it refers to.
Now, I'd have to Google kingdom. Wouldn't that sort of encompass a lot more than just one? Like if it was a kingdom, a city, like the Kingdom of LA, for instance, wouldn't that also include sort of Santa Barbara and all the around spots and not just the center? And
yeah, that is true.
My reason for this would be, wouldn't that also mean that Site B goes as well?
I don't know. I have heard that Site B might be involved in this somehow, but I'm not sure how. And I'm not really sure. I mean, I know that the leaked plot points mention it, but whether or not we will see it is another matter.
Yeah, I think at this point, as long as it's mentioned, so we know it's still there. Also, I'd love to see some news coming out of Universal that the set's been closed off behind the War of the Worlds crashed plane. That would just make me fist pump something shocking to make it to hear that maybe the worker village set's being rebuilt. I don't think this far into production. I don't think that's going to happen though. But yeah, anyway, that's the title, the logo. Anyway, and the title. Kingdom's gonna have to. I'm gonna have to warm up to that a little bit more.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm just happy it's not Jurassic World 2. I mean, I would have pulled my hair out having to listen to that title.
Especially if the park wasn't being rebuilt or reopened.
Yeah.
It's almost weird having Jurassic World in the title as well, but I suppose if we are going to return there and are going to have some parts of the film take place there, I suppose that fits. I don't... If for some reason or somehow the island is taken out in this one, I don't want Jurassic World to be in the third title if it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
We're at the stage now where you can name a movie, people know what it is. People have been talking about Ancient Futures for the last year and a half, and everyone knows it's the second Jurassic World movie. It's not hard in marketing to get the buzz up, get the hype up for a film that's not called Jurassic World but is still the Jurassic film.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll go for Jurassic Park 6 for it.
Yeah, I swear, if it's another lame title like Jurassic Park 3's was, which was what set me off for why I didn't like the idea of the title being Jurassic World 2, you know?
Yeah. And that's sort of similar with The Lost World having the Jurassic Park on the end of it. Yes, at the time it might not have been as easy with marketing, but now if that movie come out, there's no way they'd have Jurassic Park on the end of it. It'd just be The Lost World.
Yeah, that's true. It probably would have.
Alright. So, if you're ready, Dave, we'll get into minute 29.
Yeah, let's get going.
Alright. As we enter the 28th minute of The Lost World, Sarah's trying to convince Ian, while she's on the island, that she's trying to change 100 years of entrenched dogma about dinosaur behaviour. As the 29th minute of The Lost World starts, Sarah says there's a great deal of resistance against the dinosaurs being nurturing parents, and brings up Robert Burke and his theory about the T-Rex being a rogue, who abandons young at the earliest possibility, but Sarah thinks she can prove him otherwise. 28 minutes and 10 seconds we cut to Eddie, also seeing smoke above the trees and shouting, "Fire! Dr. Malcome, fire! Base camp!" 28 minutes and 13 seconds, Ian and Sarah get to their feet and start running towards base camp. 28 minutes and 14 seconds, we see Nick going to the rear of the M-Class convertible and getting a blue water container from the back of it. He takes the top off the bottle and starts to pour water onto the fire, making the smoke billow. Sarah and Ian arrive on the scene. Sarah and Eddie start kicking dirt onto the fire. Sarah says, "No use dirt, water makes smoke billow." Ian looks questioningly around. Who started the fire? 28 minutes and 24 seconds, the camera moves over Ian's shoulder to reveal Kelly Malcome standing in the door of the RV. She just wanted to make dinner and have it ready by the time those guys got back. 28 minutes and 32 seconds, we cut to Nick and Eddie at the rear of M-Class, packing equipment, getting ready for a trek of some kind. Nick asks Eddie if he sees any family resemblance. Eddie replies with a hand gesture, very small. 28 minutes and 36 seconds, we cut to Kelly laying on the bonnet of one of the Mercedes. Ian's on the satellite phone trying to get a call through to the boat for rescue. Kelly saying, "You basically told me to come here." Malcome taps the receiver on the satellite phone, not able to get a connection. And replies, What? I what?" Kelly says, "You said, don't listen to me. I thought you were trying to tell me something." Ian says, "Kelly, you know exactly what I was talking about. You have no idea what's going on here." At 28 minutes and 47 seconds, Sarah walks past him, says, "You're going to lock her up with curiosity? Where do you think she gets it?" Ian replies, "Don't start the teaming up thing, not about this." At 28 minutes and 57 seconds, Sarah walks back over to Ian and says, "Please, stay out of the conversation." And then looks to Eddie to find out why the phone's not working. And this ends the 29th minute of The Lost World. Sarah continues her defence of going to the island, but Ian's not really having much of it still.
No.
And Sarah's saying there's great resistance to the idea that the dinosaurs were nurturing parents. We get our first name dropped here, Robert Burke, saying that the T-Rex was a road and would abandon its young at the earliest opportunity, and she knows she can prove otherwise, so she's not just there to experience the dinosaurs firsthand. She's there to actually try and prove some of her theories.
Yeah. I think that the idea of Sarah Harding being there more so for the study than just the documentation was something that always appealed to me as a child, because the Lost World doesn't have a huge ton of paleontology in it like Jurassic Park 3 and the first Jurassic Park does.
Mm.
So what little we get was always a fun little nibble, you know?
Yep. Yeah, and it's just interesting too, bringing up Burke's name here, knowing that he's going to be in the film later on. It's sort of similar to Tim mentioning Backer in Jurassic Park, and then having him turn up at the end or something. But it was Burke. I think it was Burke was who Sam Neill was going to be. Backer was who Sam Neill was supposed to be modelled off, wasn't he, for Jurassic Park?
In the novel, Alan Grant was modelled more off of Backer.
Oh, okay.
Simply because he helped with some of the research that Crichton conducted, but in the movies, I believe they switched that and made it more into Horner. He's more modeled off of Horner, Jack Horner.
Yep.
You can kind of see in the novel, he's got a beard, he wears a ruffled old hat, he hates dressing up, whereas Horner doesn't mind dressing up so much. He's clean shaven, you know.
Yep. I know here too, we're supposed to focus on what Ian and Sarah are talking about, but the redwoods are just lovely. This set piece, there's a real long camera shot, tracking shot, as they're walking through before they sit down. One real large tree laying across their path, they climb up over. And you sort of look at how big Ian and Sarah are, and just how wide some of the trunks of these trees are. It's just very prehistoric.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's something I always loved about The Lost World, was that dark, coniferous, kind of spooky redwood area, and that always kind of filled my young mind full of the images of dinosaurs roaming vast coniferous forests, hunting down smaller prey, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, the marketing didn't help stow that image at all. They really ramped up the image of the redwoods in the marketing. You got tons of pictures of like T-Rex and Stegosaurus and even Velociraptor, a bunch of dinosaurs that we never really see together, hunting together in the redwoods.
Yep. It would be interesting to see sort of a raptor sequence take part in the redwoods. I don't know how easy that'd be to climb. I reckon the raptors would probably keep on your tail climbing up them too. Which is one thing we haven't seen in the movies yet that I really want to see, is raptors climbing trees.
Yeah, I remember in the novel where Levine gets stuck up a tree, and he's calling. He's like, "God, I can smell them, and I'm up in the tree, and they're chasing me."
Yeah, using their claws to dig into the bark and climb up. Yeah, I think it's a sequence from the novel Raptor Red as well, where she uses her toe claws to climb. I think that's where I'm thinking of it. Or it might be that scene in the Lost World actually, where they chase Levine up a tree. Yeah, we get Fire Dr. Malcome, Fire Base Camp. Cut to Nick running past Eddie. He's seen the smoke now as well, continuing to shout. You'd think that there's so little security. I don't know if it's just because they think they're on the outer rim. There's no predators there. They can yell and shout all they want.
I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah. Luckily, the satellite infrareds didn't show that some of the carnivores do a migratory hunt every now and then around the island. But we get everyone rushing to camp. Sarah and Malcome also rush to camp. Nick grabs a blue water container from the rear of the convertible M-Class, which is just sitting on top of some packs in the back of it. So they might have used that to fill up their water bottles when they went looking for Sarah originally. It's just not really stored away anywhere.
Oh, that's another thing is when I went to the redwoods, they had the stream going into the ocean. It was going under a bridge and going into the ocean, and it was honestly some of the cleanest water I've ever drank. Was out in the middle of this national park. You could see it coming out of the mountains and going and just flowing right into the ocean. So I just, out of curiosity, stuck my hand in the water and cupped it to my mouth, and it tasted better than the tap water at home.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, I love getting in the mountains down here and sort of fresh water coming out of the rocks. It's naturally filtered. Yes, there might be a little bit of sediment in it, but that doesn't do any harm. It's good for the guts, but yeah, a lot better than the fluoride and chlorine and everything that's in the in your standard tap water. But,
well, I have well water, so I have like double filtered tap water coming out of the ground. But it tasted honestly better. It tasted even more filtered than it does coming from my own tap.
Yep.
So that is very clean water out there, especially if you consider that this is in the setting of an island where there's no human presence whatsoever. The only thing that would be in the water would be like dino excrement.
Yeah, or maybe a carcass or something. But you'd smell if that was the case.
Yeah, and if you're drinking upstream of it, you're fine. You know.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Normally the rule is as long as the water's not stagnant, if it's running and flowing, being aerated over rocks and everything else, it's normally quite good. Nick pours the water on the fire, and Sarah's no water makes smoke billow, use dirt. Her and Ian are kicking dirt onto the fire.
Which is true, because if you add water to a fire, it's going to steam up, and you're going to get that billowous steam smoke mixture. Whereas the dirt just kind of smothers the fire, making it going out.
Yeah, I know from a lot of camping trips, we always sort of leave putting the fire out to last, because if you go to the river and get a couple of buckets of water to put it out, it just bellows steam all the way through camp, and if you've still got chairs and that out, it just makes everything stink and puts ash on everything. But especially with the ground being hot too, you normally put a bucket of water on a fire and it doesn't do much. It steams and bubbles a bit, then the dirt sort of dries it out pretty quick. If it's been camping there for a while anyway. Ian's got a real questionable look on his face, like, who started the fire? He's just can't put it together. Everyone's standing beside him, but he just doesn't know who lit it. And then we get the camera pushed back over his shoulder, which I love, to reveal the door of the RV opening, and Kelly Malcome, frying pan in hand, stirring what I think is scrambled eggs.
Yeah, probably.
Now she's got an oven mitt on. Do you reckon she had the frying pan on the fire outside, or was she using the kitchen? Because all her stuff, and we'll see when we get in the trailer, is all at the rear in the lab section of the trailer, so she's not even using the kitchenette in the trailer. It's just weird that the whole film takes part in the rear section. There's never anything in the front section apart from her walking through it at the start and Eddie walking through it just before it goes over the cliff to throw the rope down.
And that's a real shame, because they did put a lot of work into that front section of the trailer, as much as they put into the work for the back section. And they had beds, they had blankets, they had books in there, they had all kinds of things, you know? Yeah,
and especially with, we'll get to it when that minute comes, but the Jurassic Cast podcast recently had Richard Schiff on as an interview, and he was saying when they done that long tracking shot with the camera following him to take the rope to rescue the guys, the dolly, something happened with the dolly and it come off its track and actually speared the rig through the side of the trailer and damaged it, and they had to rebuild a section of the trailer inside before finishing. They were doing a walkthrough with it so they could time how fast he was walking through the trailer and how fast they were supposed to follow, and damage inside. And again, they went all the effort to make it again, or like to rebuild and fix the interior, when it was only going to be in one more shot with the camera pulling out as it falls around the people. It just again, we talked about it before, and we're going to talk to it when we get to the village. Just the set designers going all out and just being passionate about what they're working on for moments of screen time, if that. And it's just it's just sad. Like we're gonna have a whole scene later on with the baby in the rear section of the trailers where they can shine, being the lab part of it. But here where we're gonna sit down and have a conversation between Ian and Sarah in a minute. We've got this sort of conversation between Kelly and Malcome that's about to happen, and it's all done in the rear section as well. She's taken everything from the fridge and moved down there. It's just a shame.
Yeah, it really is, because so much of the cooking section is actually in the front section. I mean, there was a real RV they kind of completely renovated, you know?
Yeah, well, when she does the walkthrough, when it's back in the warehouse, as she turns sort of right to go towards the big map, on the left at the rear section where the beds are, the very next section opposite the map is the kitchen. You can see the sink there. I think there's there's a coffee maker there too. I think you can see like the old, which is weird in a moving vehicle, that you got the old style coffee maker with the big cup, like the jug you fill with water and put back in it. But yeah, that's all there. The fridge is all there, so it's just a shame they didn't use more of that front section. But we get a weird cut here because Kelly just wanted to make dinner before they got back. I think with all the what do you call it? All the sort of the condensation coming out of the actors' mouths and even the dinosaurs' mouths when they were at the creek. It seemed like a lot earlier morning, like maybe 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and not so much dinner time.
Here at the Redwoods, it could be noon, and if you get into some of the more higher elevations with some of the trees blocking out a lot of the light, you can see a lot of where you can see condensation coming from your breath. It'll be like 40 degrees in the shade, and then 70, 80 degrees in the sunlight, and you'll have that contrast just from the shadows of the trees.
Okay.
But the also thing to consider is that I think that it was this part of the movie was filmed in like September, which and those later summer months are where the condensation and the fog really starts to build up in the redwoods, and that's why the redwoods are so foggy in this movie.
Okay. No, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's a weird cut here because she's saying that she wanted to make them dinner, and all of a sudden the convertible M-Class has been moved from where it was before, where Nick got the water out of it, to up beside the trailers near the door. It's been moved there. Eddie's in the back of it getting some stuff packed, and Nick's sort of working with his camera. And then we get the Nick leaning over to him and asks him, "Do you see the family resemblance?"
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Now, okay, there might have been a time. We might have jumped forward a little bit, but it's just weird. It's just a straight up cut from her saying wanted to make dinner, with no reaction from anyone else, to all of a sudden Nick and Eddie are here on the back of the car getting some stuff packed up, and do you see any family resemblance, which is another weird line.
Yeah. And speaking of the time sequence that you mentioned earlier about how it might actually be early morning, the way that I look at it is that it's early morning when they arrive to the island, or no, it's like late morning when they arrive to the island, because you can see those clouds starting to come over that start to form in the late morning, and then it's around say noon or 1 o'clock when they finally started their search for Sarah.
Yep.
By the time they get back to the camp, it's around say I don't know, I want to say probably around 3. And so it's evening when the game trail chase is happening, because you can see how low the sun is to the ground. And you can see the shadows are being cast very long, so that I'd have to say that it's early to mid to late evening when they start the game trail chase, because the next shot that you get is of almost a sunset shot with the Rex nest, and then it's night after that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, when they're going into Rex Nest, it's pretty much most of the sunlight's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And when Ludlow pulls up to see what Roland's doing, he's got the lights on, which again, in a dusty environment during the chase, they would have had lights on anyway. But but then we cut from there straight into the hunters' camp, and it is fully nighttime. So yeah, no, I see it.
Yeah.
And then we get a second cut, which sort of all of a sudden Kelly's on the bonnet of the M class, Ian's on the satellite phone trying to reach the boat, and the convertible one that Eddie and Nick are still working in seems to be parked right on top of where the fire was. It's sort of moved over close to the RV.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly, you practically told me not to come. What? Ian's got some good backup lines to it. Sort of, no, you got no idea what you got yourself into. Sarah's sort of helping the guys pack some backpacks. Now, in the original pre-San Diego script, at this point, they were going to go on a trek on foot. I think to find the T-Rex nest. She wanted to go and see if there was any infants in the nest. Which is sort of what it must be. You can only assume it's what they're doing here. Is there anything mentioned in the other script, the shooting script, about what they're doing? You got Eddie sort of packing a backpack with sandwiches and sort of stuff, and Nick's getting camera equipment ready. Because in the pre-San Diego script, they were about to go on a trek to.
Yeah, they really don't. But I think what the intention was for them was they were going to go out on one last final kind of research expedition to set up any last equipment they have, set up the hide, find a good location for it. But they kind of get interrupted by the engine team coming up here in the next minute.
Okay. Because, yeah, it's sort of weird. They're getting stuff out of boxes to pack in the backpacks, and isn't that the whole reason the cars are there, to go drive around?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah's sort of not helping Ian's fight, where you lock her up with curiosity. What do you expect? Where do you think she gets it? And Kelly sort of thanks Sarah, and Malcolm's, hey, don't start the teaming up thing, not about this. Out of the question. And Sarah's sort of loading some supplies into the M-Class convertible, which again might mean that they are going to go for a bit of a drive and then walk the rest. If they have to walk on foot, they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we end out minute 29. So,
yep.
Anything else you want to get to before we move on?
I think we're good.
Rightio, let's get out of here and we'll be back for minute 30.
Alright guys, let's get the hell out of here.
Contact details are on the website, thelostworldminute.com. You can email feedback to thelostworldminute@gmail.com, Facebook, The Lost World Minute, Twitter @TheLostWorldMinute, and Instagram, The Lost World Minute.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, very easy to remember. David, thank you for joining me for this record.
You're welcome.
And we'll be back. I've been Brad.
I'm Dave.
And we'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
It is absolutely imperative that we work with the Costa Rican Department of Biological Preserves to establish a set of rules for the preservation and isolation of that island. These creatures require our absence to survive, not our help. And if we could only step aside and trust in nature, life will find a way.